Jonathan Lee Riches Investigates. I am covering the Moscow, Idaho Bryan Kohberger case. Is there a Bryan Kohberger copycat going on right now in Moscow, Idaho? Moscow, Idaho is where the tragedy occurred, where 4 college students got brutally stabbed during the early morning hours of November 13, 2022. Bryan Kohberger arrested for that crime. He is now going to court, being held accountable for what he did inside that Moscow home. But right now, I want to share some new information. Apparently, according to the Moscow Police Department, there's someone slashing tires all throughout Moscow. And this is occurring basically at the 1-year anniversary of when this tragedy occurred. According to Moscow police, I'm going to show you that right here. According to Moscow police, this morning, officers have taken more than 20 reports of slashed tires in the neighborhoods around Mabel, Spotswood, Hayes, Adams, and 8th Street. The map below shows the general area of where the slashed tires occurred. If you live or have businesses in the area with security cameras, please review the footage of last night for any suspicious activity. The slashed tires began occurring at 10 p.m. We're talking about nighttime slashing, folks. Makes me wonder, anything and everything in the Moscow, Idaho area in reference to stabbings thinks of Bryan Kohberger, in my mind. Or is it just juveniles or young punks taking advantage of citizens in Moscow and just being cool and victimizing people? Kind of like graffiti, right? Where people and kids and young people go around and spray paint and tag buildings. What is going on in Moscow? Because it's not normal where people stab tires and slash tires. So is this some sort of copycat going on? Is this someone out there sending a message saying this is what we're going to do on the anniversary? Or is it unrelated whatsoever? We don't know. But I'm looking into who would do these slashings and the motivation behind slashings that is occurring in Moscow, Idaho. The community's already on edge, folks, because of Bryan Kohberger and what he did. He's arrested, and I'm assuming he did it. Some of you say Bryan Kohberger didn't do the stabbings in Moscow, Idaho. That's up for debate, but the police apparently think they got the guy. But a lot of times in crimes, there's always types of copycats. Now in Moscow, there wasn't a murder before what Kohberger got arrested for in 8 years. But now there's slashings and tires going on in that area. Now, slashing and tires, you might say, that has nothing to do with stabbing people. But it's somebody there using a knife. I mean, slashing tires. I don't know what you can slash a tire with. Can you use like a prod, or can you use some sort of pole? I think it's a knife, folks. I think it's a knife, and I think somebody's running around making a mockery of maybe the situation in Moscow, or taking advantage of the police department, or just using it as an opportunity to be punks, right? And be criminals by slashing. I hope Moscow police actually catch the people in Moscow that are doing these slashings. You can look for yourself on the Facebook page of Moscow PD, and if you can help Moscow PD if you know who's doing this, right? Somebody's out there doing it. Is it a person? Is it a group of people? Stabbings and slashings. Remember Buddy the dog? Remember I interviewed the homeowner that had her dog skinned a little bit before the Moscow, Idaho tragedy happened? We still don't know what happened with that. Whether it was human, or was it nefarious reasons, a neighbor, or Bryan Kohberger. Some people think that Bryan Kohberger maybe slashed that dog Buddy, which was on the north side of Moscow, Idaho. Now, the neighborhoods where Moscow police said the stabbings occurred, it's on the north side of Highway 8, and that is the main road that goes between Moscow and Pullman. It's right there east of the Walmart. There is a Walmart in Moscow. But who is doing the stabbings? Who is doing the stabbings? I'm going to keep on this case and bring awareness to this case. Subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button. Most likely unrelated to the Bryan Kohberger case, but it could be a Bryan Kohberger copycat, or someone thinks they're cool to use a knife when everyone's already on edge about knives and stabbing in the Moscow area. I'm JLR Investigate. Subscribe. We will talk soon. Justice for the victims of Idaho. Stay tuned.